Are you ready to find out how to make your glutes nice, round and perky? Do you want to know 5 best exercises for your butt? Do you want to have strong glutes which actually support your body? If you want to find out those 5 best exercises for your glutes, stay with me. With this video, I'm going to show you 5 best exercises to make your glutes strong, perky, round and just absolutely beautiful. We're gonna learn how to train our glutes. What I believe in, that basics are great. So those exercises, the basic exercises which were there years and years ago, and they're still here for a reason, because they work. So let's look at our 5 best exercises to make our glutes round and absolutely irresistible. The first exercise which we're going to be looking at, it's going to be a sumo squat. You can do it with the barbell, you can do it with dumbbells, you can actually do it with any weight. I prefer to do it with the dumbbells. I have my dumbbells with me. What I'm going to show you is the variation which I do myself personally. I actually raise my toes when I do a sumo squat. The reason behind it is that I have a bigger range of motion to squat into. With the sumo squat, it is a wider positioning squat. There are people who are going to tell you you have to have a specific angle with your feet. Myself personally, we are all different, and I believe that what works for one person is not going to work for the other person, for a simple reason that we're built a bit different. One person has longer femur and the other person has longer torso and very short legs, and the opposite. And there are so many different things which we need to consider. So let's start. Feet wide apart, toes pointing outwards. From here, we need to make sure that our feet are planted to the ground. So your weight should be distributed evenly. And when we're going to have our toes raised, predominantly weight is going to be on your heels. But if you do it on a normal level floor, then I want you to concentrate and make sure that the whole weight is being distributed evenly. What I mean by that, you need to push with the entire foot, not from your heel, not from your toe. I'm going to explain what I mean here. If you shift all your weight to your heels, so imagine you're standing nice and tall, and you're shifting and trying to push from your heels. What's happening? You're gonna fall backwards. You're not gonna actually literally fall, but that is going to cause some asymmetry in your alignment, which we don't need. The same here. If you put all your weight to your toes, eventually you're going to fall forward. So your weight, you should push with your entire foot. Then, our knees are always following our toes. The reason for it is we don't want any injuries, we want proper alignment, and we want fast results. So we need to have proper form in order to get those results faster. Let's look into that. Feet wide, toes pointing outwards, knees are following your toes, moving upwards, your pelvic floor. If you try to stand nice and tall and try tilting your pelvic floor one way and the other way, one way and the other way, you're going to find that middle position, which is ideal position, and I would tuck it in even a bit more. So squeeze your glutes and tuck that pelvic floor in. That is going to protect your spine greatly. Feet wide, knees are following your toes, pelvic floor, tilt it. Engage your core. About 10% is great, so you can try and practice. Suck it all in and then release by half, by another half. You will find that position where you can actually engage it and hold it there for the entire duration of the exercise. About 10% is great. Then our shoulders are always rolling them back and down. Back is straight, especially with squats and exercises like deadlift. This is crucial. Your back and your alignment, your positioning should be perfect so that you're not going to have injuries. It is going to be easier on your spine and you're going to get results. Just what everyone wants. Feet wide apart, knees following toes, pelvic floor tucked in. Abs are engaged, shoulders back and down. Your neck is the final and very important thing. Don't try to look at yourself in a mirror when you're performing exercises. I know it is tempting because you want to know your positioning, but better film yourself and then have a look at it afterwards rather than putting unnecessary pressure on your neck. Your neck should be always following your spine and stay neutral. Now I'm going to grab a weight and actually show you what the sumo squat is going to look like. Also, when you're squatting, try and concentrate on going slow on the way down. So stay under tension for longer. You're going down slowly and then come up. Go down slowly and then come up. Let's move on to exercise number 2. Exercise number 2 is going to be a deadlift. Here, once again, you can do it with the barbell or with dumbbells, whichever you have handy and whichever you prefer. When doing a deadlift, your feet should be in between hip to a shoulder width. But once again, find your ideal positioning. Your toes slightly turned outwards, just a fraction. And you can try pointing them straight ahead and see what works better for you. For me, I find that turning them a bit outwards helps me. Your knees are always following your toes. So when you are bending and going into deadlift, don't let your knees go inwards, don't let your knees go outwards. They should really follow your toes. One more thing about your knees, don't lock your knees. So when you're in the upper position, when you're coming up, straighten your legs, but do not lock your knees. So your knees should be, I would say, a bit soft all the way through the exercise. So rotate your pelvic floor, suck it under, tuck it under. And that way your spine is going to have a better alignment and better positioning for holding that load which you're going to have in your hands. Your arms should be engaged. Shoulders, roll them back and down and make sure that your back is straight and really activate your lats. Activate your back. So straighten your back and feel every single muscle, tense it. Your neck should be once again in neutral. Whatever you do, your neck should be in neutral position and relaxed. So here, when you're bending down, your neck is going to be following your spine. You don't look in the mirror, you don't look at your workout mate who's right next to you. Your neck is following your spine. When you're coming up, then you look straight ahead. The deadlift variation, which I'm going to show you, where we don't need to lower the weight all the way down. We're gonna go midway of our shins. So placing our feet about hip to shoulder width, whichever you find comfortable. Let me show you from the side. Then pelvic floor tucked in, abs engaged, shoulders back and down, neck is relaxed. From here, we're gonna lower our weight and we're gonna go midway and really concentrate on sticking out that butt outwards, and then come up and then go into the other rep. Keep that weight really close to you. The same principle applies if you're doing it with the barbell. But what you do here, you're positioning your feet and then you bring your weight close to you. You normally grab a barbell just outside of your shins. Some people have the alternate grip, whichever you find suitable for yourself. Once again, it's not going to make any difference. And from here, make sure that you really activate every single muscle. So prepare your legs, your pelvic floor tucked in, abs engaged, back is straight. And you're gonna bring your weight up, holding it close to you, and then lower it down, midway, and come up. If you want to use wrist straps, do it. I would say that the amount of weight you're gonna be lifting from the floor, it's going to be quite significant, and you are training your legs and your glutes. You're not training your finger muscle, your hand muscles. And if your hand cannot survive for as long as you need it to, then help yourself and use straps. There is nothing wrong with it. There is nothing wrong with using gloves. There is nothing wrong with using straps either. If that's going to help you with the better form, with a heavier load, then use it. Our next exercise is a Bulgarian split squat. You can do it with any weight you have handy, a plate, a sandbag. I'm going to show it with dumbbells. To find the right position, you probably have seen people who are trying to jump on one leg and trying to find their ideal position, which is completely fine. But to give you a bit of a hint, place one foot onto your bench and sit on it. From here, straighten your other leg, and when you stand up, this is your position for Bulgarian squat. What you want to do here, if you find it a bit too close, you can move forward. You will see it when you perform a couple of reps. With the Bulgarian split squat, your foot, which is on the floor, should be pointing straight ahead, and your knee should be following the toe, always. So where your toes are looking at, this is where your knee goes. The other leg is behind you. The leg which is working leg is a standing leg. So you should not feel any pressure, any pain, any tension in the other leg. It is literally resting on the bench. Here, make sure that you engage your abs and make sure that your spine is in neutral. So once again, try to keep that correct pelvic positioning, shoulders back and down. I say when you squat down, you can squat down and then lean to the front. That way you will have a bigger and a deeper stretch in your glute and in your hamstring. When you work out a muscle in isolation, and this movement where you actually do one side and then the other, you A, really concentrating on that muscle, and B, you correcting any imbalances which we all have. So once again, position your foot, knees following the toe. Pelvic floor is in neutral, that your spine does not get any unnecessary pressure on it. Shoulders back and down. Your neck, once again, stays in neutral positioning. And here, we're going to squat down and lean forward and come up. I give you a bit of a tip. If you raise your front foot, your standing leg, it will give you even bigger range of motion. If you stand on a platform, you can squat even deeper. And here, grab your weights, and I'm going to show you a few reps. So once again, your foot is looking straight ahead. Your knees are following toes. Pelvic floor is tucked in. Arms are engaged. Shoulders back and down. And your neck is relaxed. You're squatting down and leaning forward. Squat down. Really concentrate on descending. And then you can faster come up. Slow on the way down. And come up. Next exercise is the one where we isolate one muscle, and it is going to be a deadlift again, but only on one leg. Your weight in your hands, barbell, dumbbells, whatever you're using. You place one foot with toes pointing straight ahead. Knee is following toes. Pelvic floor tucked in. Arms are engaged. Shoulders back and down. Back is engaged and neck is in neutral. And here, the other leg is going behind you and slightly to the side, just for the balance. So there is no weight on it, you can lift it up and you're still going to be able to stand on one leg. Activate all muscles, and here, go down and come up. Make sure that when you're bending, your shins are staying vertical. So you're keeping your legs as straight as possible and you're hinging at your hips whilst keeping shins in a vertical position. Our next exercise is going to target our glutes and going to make them rounder and perkier. This is going to be the hip thrust. There are so many different variations of hip thrusts, and you can do them endlessly. But let me show you a couple of them. Those, I believe, target your glutes the most. First of all, make sure that you have a steady bench which is not going to slide from underneath you and not going to get anywhere. And I prefer to raise my feet with my hip thrusts. So I get a bit of a deeper and a bigger range of motion here. The way you do it is place your feet onto the platform, or if you're doing it off the floor, you can do it the same way as well. I'm going to show you what you need to achieve with your feet positioning and especially your knee positioning. When you coming up, check where your knee is. If you place your feet too far to the front, you're going to be targeting your hamstrings more. Because we need to concentrate on our glutes, this is why I'm explaining these best exercises. We need to make sure that when we're coming up, our knee is at 90-degree angle and our shin is staying in a vertical position. I'm going to show it without the weight and explain every single bit before showing it with the weight. Place your feet about hip width apart and point your toes straight forward. Your knees will be following your toes as always. Here, engage your core and tuck your pelvic floor in. You're gonna be coming up, and here, when you're coming up, I want you to make sure that your neck is relaxed. So your neck is following your spine always. When you're lowering down, your head position will change because your neck is going to be following your spine. You can even lean your head, tilt it a little bit to the front to make sure that you don't put unnecessary pressure on your neck. Toes pointing straight ahead, knees are following, abs are engaged, coming up, going down. When you're coming up, make sure that you really think about pulling those knees away from each other to make sure that they don't fold to the middle. So coming up and stay there for a split second and really activate your glutes. Then come down and go up again. Come down and go up. You will really feel that in your glutes. When you add the weight, it will be obviously more challenging. You can do hip thrust just with the body weight, but if you want to grow your glutes, then obviously you need to go a bit heavier. I've got a lightweight dumbbell here, but this is just a demonstration. So you would go down, come up, and then go down, come up, and go down. You can also add a resistance band and place it on your legs. That way you will need to keep pushing your legs away from each other to make sure that they don't come too close, to make sure that this resistance band is nicely stretched throughout the movement. What I want you to remember with this one, because people tend to get a neck ache quite a lot with hip thrusts when doing them, a good tip to take away with you. When you're doing any exercise for your abs, or even when you're doing a deadlift or a heavy squat, try to stabilize your spine and your neck. To do so, place your tongue on the top, on the roof of your mouth, behind front teeth, and keep it there. That way your neck is going to be stabilized. Our entire body, we have mobilizer muscles, we have stabilizers, those which help the correct muscles to be worked out. So it's not just one muscle which is being involved. Other muscles are supporting, and other muscles are stabilizing, and other muscles are being used to neutralize the processes which are happening in our body. They are quite complex. So that tip, your tongue on the roof of your mouth behind the front tip, that will help you to keep your neck in the correct position and to avoid the unnecessary neck pain. So let me go through the hip thrust with another variation, which I find just amazing. Here you need to place your feet next to each other, just like so. And with your heels, they're really gonna be touching each other. So face them, heels to each other. And here, because our knees are going all the way out, we are really isolating our glutes and taking hamstrings away from this movement, concentrating on our butt more. Here, the main thing is to keep pushing those knees outwards. And when you come up, you will really feel that in your glutes. Just literally touch yourself, feel your glutes. They're gonna be rock hard. And you're performing the same movement. So you're making sure that your arms are engaged, your neck is relaxed, and you are driving your hips up and down, and try to keep your knees pointing outwards throughout the movement. I have now shared with you the best 5 exercises for your glutes. Guys, please remember that building any particular muscle is not just about working out, but about your diet, about your fluid intake, about your sleep, and the way you perform exercises. So when you're trying to increase the size of a particular muscle, think about the way you structure your workout. It's not always about doing a multi-set and repeating one exercise after another. When I'm training glutes, I try to leave my isolated movements to the last and to perform them one after another without rest for one side to really work it out and then switch to the other. So I would do like a one-legged deadlift followed by a Bulgarian squat, and I might even do a hip thrust on one leg, or I might do a backward lunge on one leg. It is up to you how you structure it, but make sure that you really have that pumping session. Maybe grab a lighter weight and do more reps right at the end, and start with the really heavier ones, but do it as a superset, as a drop set, to really get the results faster. So you now learned the 5 best exercises for your glutes to make sure that they get round and perky and strong. Make sure that you take these tips away. Remember about the tongue to help you to stabilize your neck, and I'll see you with another workout. And make sure that you stay safe, whatever and whenever you train. Stay safe and love yourself and love your life. And I love you all, and I'll see you next time.